we really don't know how bad the burden is statewide in Florida. I can't, for example, show you any charts about the current number of hospitalizations in Florida, how they've gone up or gone down over time. The reason I can't show you that is because Florida doesn't release that data. Lots of other states, almost all the other states, release their hospitalization data. Florida just stopped doing that. They stopped reporting hospitalization numbers statewide at the end of May, which the Miami Herald suggests is when their rise in cases really started taking off. They just decided they wouldn't put that information out in public view anymore. Florida is so cagey about its numbers when it comes to coronavirus that they fired the person they'd had running the state's website showing all the coronavirus data. She says they fired her because they wanted her to manipulate and remove data in order to make the epidemic look more under control in Florida than it actually was. She's incidentally now launched her own handmade personal version of the Florida coronavirus data dashboard that she used to run for the state. She's just doing it herself now from home in her spare time because she says the state wouldn't let her post the real data online at the official site, so she's doing her best now just as a private individual. Florida has also resisted posting data about outbreaks and deaths at its nursing homes and in workplaces. Florida likes to keep the numbers nice and quiet, because presumably if you don't know, then everything's fine. I mean, that's one way of dealing with the crisis. Just pull the covers over your head, say everything's fine, and hope nobody notices the bodies piling up. But as they move the RNC, the Republican National Convention, and all those tens of thousands of Republican delegates and all the media and all the hangers-on, as they move that from Charlotte, North Carolina, which knows it has a problem, to Jacksonville, Florida, where they don't say whether or not they're having a problem. There's one other wrinkle here to consider about the fact that this thing is moving to Jacksonville. As I mentioned a minute ago, related to the Super Bowl, Jacksonville has this interesting history of using cruise ships to house out-of-towners who are visiting for large-scale events. Well, now that Jacksonville is going to host the Republican National Convention because North Carolina was being so prissy about this dumb epidemic that Republicans don't believe is real, it looks like the cruise ship housing solution is being considered once again for Jacksonville for the Republican National Convention in the middle of the epidemic. Cruise ships? Seriously? Yeah, the local NBC affiliate in Jacksonville, Florida, reporting that many of the hotels in the city are already sold out for the week of the RNC. Remember, they have moved this thing at the very last minute. Now the city's former mayor says there are active discussions going on about bringing in cruise ships to deal with overflow guests who are there for the RNC. The chairman of the Florida Republican Party is also saying that cruise ships could be a good option in terms of housing people for the RNC. Yeah, a nice place to stuff them into after they spend the day screaming and chanting indoors with tens of thousands of other, mostly older people not wearing masks in one of the states with the largest and fastest growing epidemics in the country. They're going to put them on cruise ships. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to announce a nightly RNC delegate doorknob licking competition. Or maybe just a big puppy pileup where everybody over age 75 all takes a lick on the same giant soft serve cone. Just stick your face in there, give it a slurp, and then pass it on to the next grandpa. Anybody want to play sneeze in my face? Wet Willie, anyone? And after that, you all go back to the cruise ship together to touch all the hand railings and then eat at the buffet. Achoo. Ahem. Seriously,